When you're a star college football player, living a double life as a major drug dealer, many things can go wrong. But when your teammates meet up with two girls from New York and end up in a sticky situation, only you would have the information to save them. Isaiah Smith, only in his second season at the University of Rochester, was highly valued by the program, so valued in fact that the coaching staff was willing to overlook his activities in the streets. Nico Calais and his frat brother Ani Okiki, both teammates of Smith, tried to avoid him off the field since they didn't appreciate how he would brag around campus that he was a dealer, a fact that he wanted everyone to know. And you see, Isaiah Smith wasn't just bragging. Born and raised in the Bronx, he had connections in the city to get whatever he wanted. And the university just being a 5-hour drive from the Bronx, he could get it fast too. But on November 28th, 2015, 2 weeks after his final game, Isaiah Smith was spotted jogging towards Brooks Crossing, a student apartment complex where two of his teammates lived, Nico and Ani. Isaiah appears to have been low on product, so he hatched a plot. He was caught on camera waving to 3 men in the apartment to let him in. He then pointed to a black sedan. Smith knew the men in this apartment, and in need of a place for the deal to go down. He knew that Nico and Ani were away on Thanksgiving break. And he also knew that they kept a spare key hidden nearby. And upon entering, the men from the black sedan proceeded to beat and rob Smith along with the other 3 men. Only Smith didn't seem to be getting hit as hard. Isaiah had set up a whole fake robbery. Smith went to the hospital with them just to keep up the ruse. But his part in the plot was quickly uncovered by police, and he spent a short time in jail before having the $15,000 bond posted by his assistant coach. And the 3 men who were actually robbed were not aware of this since the school kept the details of this incident secret. So secret, in fact, that when Nico and Ani returned to campus, the only information they got about the event that took place in their apartment was a vague announcement from the school that an incident had occurred on school property. But unknown to them, someone was looking for revenge. Elliot Rivera, a 19-year-old man, had just learned that his cousin was attacked in a drug deal gone wrong. And with how sparse information was, all Elliot knew was that his cousin was attacked by a group of guys on the 7th floor and that there was a Rochester football player involved. A couple weeks later, on December 5th, a Friday night, Nico and Ani were hanging out at the Delta Kappa Epsilon frat house when Ani announces that he has 2 girls for them to meet up with around 1 a.m. So they get in the back of Samantha's car, and once they pass through North Market View Heights, one of the most dangerous areas in Rochester, Nico started to feel like something was up, but it was too late. You see, Samantha Hughes was friends with one of the men injured in Isaiah's fake robbery, and once they arrived at the house, ignoring the foul smell coming from within, they let the girls lead them through the door onto a couch. Only, the girls didn't walk all the way in the house, and as they were sitting, men popped out with weapons and all the lights went out. Turns out, Samantha's boyfriend, Elliot Rivera, was the one texting Ani the whole time. The 2 men were then locked in a small room of the house and tortured. During the next 40 hours, Nico and Ani will be brutalized in ways that I can't explain here on YouTube. But during this 40-hour period, after being reported missing by other students, the 2 girls' part in the plot was quickly discovered by police through Facebook messages. And when they were called in to speak with campus police, one of the girls actually led them to a random house and claimed it to be the last place she saw the missing men. They ended up being let go, but the police got a big tip when the kidnappers withdrew money from Nico's debit card. And at the same time, a student living in the apartment asked Isaiah Smith if he knew anything about what happened to his 2 teammates. And after being showed one of the girls, Isaiah instantly recognized her and soon contacted the kidnappers, who, as it turns out, were his main suppliers. He offered them $15,000 for his teammates' release, but they declined, stating they didn't want money, they only wanted blood. Either way, the jig was up. Detectives once again brought the girls in for questioning, and they finally gave up the address. The SWAT team arrived, and although beaten and bloody, Nico and Ani were saved. Rivera and the 2 other men were given 35 years each, while Rivera's friend, who orchestrated the whole thing, was given 155 years. and the girls guilty of luring the two men were each sentenced to about 14 years. And despite Isaiah Smith trying to help free his teammates, he was also brought before a judge. Even though he didn't set up the kidnapping, the fact that he used his teammate's apartment to set up a fake robbery, and that was the reason everything went down, he was sentenced to 13.5 years. 3 football careers ended, and 9 people spending decades in prison.